And now it's time for Fantasy Fortunes. Alright, at quarterback, I like Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers against Carolina. Carolina Panthers let up a lot of points, and their defense has been uncharacteristically soft this year. They've been giving up lots of offensive yardage, especially through the air, and so Rodgers should have a big day. Also like Joe Flacco of the Baltimore Ravens going against Atlanta. Both of those games are at home, and the Ravens have been really strong. Flacco had an excellent game last week, and he's been having a pretty good year. And the Falcons are bad when it comes to pass defense, so Flacco should have a big day. Then at running back, like DeMarco Murray of the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Giants. DeMarco Murray's the number one running back in the league. There's no secret about that, and he should have a big day against New York. I also like Ben Tate of the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville has one of the softest defenses in terms of yards allowed and points allowed, so Ben Tate should have 100 yards and should get into the end zone. Of course, they do split the carries, but Ben Tate takes the bulk of the load, even though he is a little banged up. But then at wide receiver, like Steve Smith of the Baltimore Ravens against Atlanta. Again, that Flacco to Smith, that should be, pretty big connection there as Atlanta lets up some big games to receivers. And it's in Baltimore. Also like Golden Tate of the Detroit Lions against the New Orleans Saints. It's in Detroit, and the Saints have a pretty weak pass defense, and without Megatron playing, Golden Tate is going to see the majority of the action at receiver. Most of the passes are going to be targeted his way, so I like Golden Tate to have a big game. Then at tight end, going with Jordan Reed of the Washington Redskins. He's back off of his injury, and he had a pretty good game last week, and I think he should have an even better game against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans, they're all right, at pass defense, but Reed should have a big game. They let up a lot of points, in Tennessee. But, they didn't let up too many to Jacksonville, but they should let up a lot to Washington. I think the Redskins in D.C. should put up some points, and Reed should be pretty active in that game and should get a touchdown or two. Then at kicker, like Dan Carpenter of the Buffalo Bills. They're going to be hosting the Minnesota Vikings, and I think Carpenter's going to get plenty of action. I think he should probably get at least 3 or 4 attempts, and he's probably good for a couple of extra points as well, as Buffalo is very likely to run up the score on Minnesota. And so then at defense, I'm also going with those Bills, the Buffalo Bills, and I'll tell you what, not just the fact that their defense is so good, and they're one of the top defenses in the league, especially when it comes to points allowed. Also the fact that on special teams they have the ability to score, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bills put up some points on special teams, and that goes to credit your defense in fantasy. So that's another reason why. So they got a really good defense, plus the special teams is possibility of scoring. So that's what I'm going with on defense, and those are my fantasy picks for Week 7.